Hi there, magical women. I am doing this on my phone because my Facebook is not working properly on my computer. So here I am. Hi, would love for you to say hi when you jump in. If you are watching the replay, I would love for you to say hashtag replays so that we can come and say hi to you. And if this is the first time that you've watched one of my pauses, then hi, I'd love to get to know you and thank you for watching and all the things, because really what I'm here to do and a mission that I'm on is to support women to really, first of all, to find their magic and to recognize that they are magical and start feeling safe. Start feeling safe to share your magic with the world, right? We were just talking about this in my program, Conscious Creator Circle, where we were talking about feeling safe to share your voice and to speak your truth. And so that's one of my missions, is to really start stepping up and recognizing that you're a magical being and that you're here to create amazing things in the world. And one of them is to start having conscious relationships, to start recognizing that it's okay for you to sit in your power and in your confidence and in your authenticity. And when you're in that space, you are now connecting to your magic, and then you're radiating that energy out to the world, and through that radiating out, you're magnetically attracting relationships that have a conscious energy to them. They're not matching up between you and somebody else from your body mate, right? You're not matching up with people through your trauma, through old belief systems that don't serve you anymore. You're matching up because you're sharing your magic, because you're recognizing that you're a creator, because you're moving into that space yourself. You're matching up and aligning with your soul aligned partner, what I call a divine partner. Because that's what we want, right? We all want to have those relationships where you can really feel supported, connected, intimately feel vulnerable and be safe. All of those things that we all desire within our heart. But some part of us doesn't feel safe doing that. And often that's because we have been conditioned to not allow ourselves to shine our light, right? We have been conditioned to second guess ourselves because, like when we stood in our truth, it was often shunned by the world. It was shunned by our parents. We were told, dim your light, don't do that, don't misbehave, right? And we were told to conform. And while we're conforming, we are missing out on the expansion that we had the ability to create in our world and in our light and evolve to that next level in the world, right? We're not supposed to conform to the world the way it is. Just like the universe is expanding, so is the ability and the opportunity for us to expand and create and evolve our human being, our human experience on this planet. So we're not here to conform. We're here to shine our light and to really step into living that love, that conscious relationship aspect of ourselves. So let's start talking about self-trust and the key to confident and aligned decisions. So what generally happens is what we were just talking about. We have this thing that we don't trust ourselves because, unfortunately, when we were kids, we had all of the energy placed in, all of the power was given to our parents, right? Or our caregiver. We gave all of that away, and there was a reason for it, because when you're born, you're this little vulnerable, like a wolf, right? Like when a baby cub is born, it is vulnerable, right? There might be lions out there that are going to kill or eat you, right? And so we've got this, what do you call it? Like an innate survival mechanism within us that puts all of our survival in the hands of those that are looking after us, right? The caregivers. So when we're first born, we need warmth, right? We need something to protect us. We need food outside of ourselves. We need things to nourish ourselves. We need shelter. We need love. So all of these things become external to ourselves. And so then we just naturally start looking outside of ourselves for validation, for recognition, for what's right, what's wrong, how do I behave in this family, is it okay for me to ask for a second cookie, is it okay for me to go and play outside and, adventure out in the wild, like out in the playground, is it okay for me to do these things? And we get told by our parents whether it's right or wrong, right? And we just listen to all of that. So what happens is, after I have, look at my cool cuppa. That's from a client. Isn't it cool? What happens is through that, as we develop ourselves to be listening to everyone outside of ourselves and we mature, right, we are now conditioned to believe that we don't know what's right and wrong for ourselves, right? It's just a natural part of the process. And so we start doubting, second guessing all of our decisions. And we don't listen to that internal voice because we've never been taught how to do it. We did it when we were very young, but it's been conditioned out of us. And so here we are in, as adults, and you want to be intuitive, you want to connect with other people, you want to listen to that gut feeling, whether that person is safe for you to open up to or is not safe for you to open up to. But we haven't given ourselves the opportunity to really connect in with that internal voice, and we second guess it when we do hear it, right? We start thinking, well, maybe this person's being nice to me, and it's okay that they're not prioritizing me, that it's okay that like I'm getting I'm settling for less than what I really want, because that's the way the world is, right? We start internally validating the external circumstances rather than looking at what our higher self is actually sharing, which is, hey, you deserve more than this. And actually, there's someone out there for you that really could give you way more than this, is going to create so much more wholesomeness in your relationships, right? Now, whether this be a partner, whether this just be a friend, a relationship with a friend, whether it be a colleague at work, whether it's actually your relationship with family, because, we move into, as a soul, we come into a family so that we can correct the things that were not in alignment last time, and that we sort of went, we still need some tweaking in the self-worth area, right? We don't feel very worthy, and actually we are full of light and full of worthiness, and we just actually need to believe in that. And so let's come down into a family that's going to make us feel less worthy so that we can recognize ourselves as more than that. What generally happens, though, is that whole feeling of not feeling worthy, we start validating that as if that's the truth, and it's not. And so we second guess ourselves all the time, and that's why we connect in with love relationships that don't serve us, right? And generally what I find is women that are magic, are intuitive, are really powerful. We have had our light dimmed so much because We don't listen to, we've got that empathic energy, right? And I'd love for you to share on here if this is you. You feel things really deeply, right? You feel that connection to people, and so you second guess it because it's a bit scary to be that connected to people. And so you don't listen to that internal energy that's saying, be a little bit wary, that person's, not necessarily got your best interest at heart, right? And you don't listen to that. You step in, you fall head over heels, and oh my gosh, here's another freaking narcissist, and how did I get here again, right? Because there's something within that is needing correction. There's something within there's a couple of things actually. There's a couple of things. One of them is not holding the vision of what it is that you want to create. We allow our whole world to be dictated to by everything else external to us, and we don't focus enough on what we want to have instead. What sort of relationships do you want? What does a conscious relationship actually look like to you? Like, how does that work? Like, what have you sat down and spent some time really nutting out? What is it that you really want to experience in a relationship? What sort of conversations do you want to have? Do you want highly strung, not highly strung, but highly intelligent conversations that, are out there and pique your interest? Or do you find that you want that, but in friendships, because you want to be able to, like, sometimes those highly intelligent conversations can be a bit too much to have them every single day in your house, right? Like, sometimes you just want to be just, like chilling out and watching Netflix and doing normal things, right? Like, maybe. What works for you? What sort of relationship do you want to have in communication? What are the things that you stand for? What, do you, not that you have to be the same, but do you actually have that same connection to what you stand for and stand against, right? Or is that something that's going to cause arguments on a regular basis? What sort of intimacy are you into, right? Are you someone that absolutely loves being cuddled, right? I know that one of the things that that was for me, I had my last two connections. One is beautiful Tim, right, that I met on the beach, and everyone knows that story, right? I went to the beach, and my maiden name was Payne, Payne, and his last name's Makepeace, right? I see that as a connection from the universe. One of the things that I love about Tim is that he holds my hand in public all the time. And the guy that I was sort of dating for a while before him, that was one of the things that I noticed. He used to walk really fast, and there was no connection even when we were walking, right? Because I tend to want to walk not slow, but I definitely want to look at the flowers, right? But he was like, let's get somewhere, right? And he never held hands in public. And those are those little moments that you go, I want to just tune in here and see, is this something that I could live with for the rest of my life, or am I settling for something less than, because there's a belief in me that believes that I don't deserve more, or that I'm not worthy of more, or like it's really looking and becoming aware of what's going on internally. Because when you listen to yourself internally, when you listen to that little voice and start questioning that voice, right? Like asking, why do I feel this way? Why do I believe this? Like, one of the things that happened and why I'm not with that other guy is because I noticed that he had this thing where he was treating every woman that he knew exactly the same as me, right? We were sleeping together, but other than that, he was treating every other woman. He spoke to them on the phone the same way. He was flirtatious. He had a very beautiful and magnetic energy to his voice, right? He could have been a radio announcer. He spoke very he just had this flair to him, right? And I noticed these little things, and at first it was like, oh, that's interesting. I noticed that. How do I feel about that? Well, this is just the one thing, right? So I just sort of kept it to myself and felt into it. But then there was another thing, and then there was another thing, and these things started accumulating, and I'm like, where do I really sit with this? Me internally, not what the world thinks. What do I think? What am I prepared to live with in a relationship? What do I really want? And ladies, you can, to get to that point of asking yourself, you've got to be in that space where you're comfortable being by yourself, right? Am I prepared to be with someone? Because I really love being by myself, right? And I'm okay being by myself. And I love being by myself. So to have someone means I've got to complement what I'm already enjoying about life. And so I got to this point where there was enough of these little moments that I went, okay, I need to say something. And so I spoke up. Well, it was very interesting because he knew at the time this Facebook group was called Women of Light. And he comes back with this gaslighting in a way. Oh, I thought you were a woman of light. I thought that I could, I should be allowed to love all women. And he said, I'm sleeping with you, but why can't I share my love with all women, right? Now, it was very interesting because as he said that, I had to question myself and ask myself, well, actually, he's right. Why can't he share his light with everyone, right? And I had to look at the two things. I just picked a pen up. I had to look at the two things because both of them felt right to me. He was not wrong, right? He should be allowed to love whoever he wants, right? And I had to look within myself and go, okay, do I want to be with a man that wants to love everyone? Or who do I want to be with, and who am I in the relationship? And I saw that there was two contradictory beliefs within me. One of them was this hippie, love and light woman that had, 27 years of being on the spiritual path. I've seen a lot, and I've been in those systems, right? The belief systems that, everyone should be able to love whoever they want, right? And I had that belief. And then I had this other belief that was traditional of I want to be special in my man's life, and I want him to be special. I want us to be a unit, right? Now, I looked at both of those two beliefs and went, which one is actually mine? Because there's the traditional one that we've all grown up with, or most of us have. And then there's this love and light, unicorns and rainbows energy of the spiritual community. And I actually had to look and process it and decide which one's mine and where are my boundaries. And through that process, believe it or not, well, you do, because now I'm with somebody else, but I realized that I'm a traditional woman. Now, I know people that are in polyamorous relationships, and that's their belief and that's their process. But for me, I wanted to be special in my man's eyes. I wanted someone that wanted to be with me and wanted to validate me and connect with me and all of the things, and me with him. And so I went and spoke to him. Once I worked out who I was within and listened to myself, I didn't I did. I had that moment of second guessing, right? Where I'm like, both of them actually feel right to me. So which one is mine? And I listened and I dived deeper into my own beliefs and recognized which one was mine. And then through that process was able to come back with that self-trust, with that confidence to validate myself and my own beliefs, right? Whether they were world beliefs or other people's beliefs was irrelevant. It was what felt right for me internally. And I went back to him and I said, I'm really sorry, but, I want someone that just wants to love me, right? And he already knew, it was very strange. But anyway, he already knew. He started giving me, sending me gifts and all sorts of crazy things about strong women, how hard it is to be with a strong woman, right? And he wasn't ready, he wasn't prepared to stand up, and it was okay, because I knew that he was not my man. And so we left the relationship because, and this is the thing, ladies, right, that's really important. The more I got to know myself, and that was a pivotal moment of, I now know another layer and another level of what I actually want to create in my life and who I am and what my values and beliefs are. Now that I know that, there's more solidity in my auric field, because now there's some tangible belief. It wasn't wobbly in my auric field anymore. I was now radiating out this energy of, I want to be special in somebody's life, right? Well, lo and behold, here comes Tim down at the beach, not long after, actually. So Tim and I met not long after that at the beach. And I've got to tell you, I've never had a man treat me so special. The things that he did to actually secure me as a partner is unbelievable. Some of the things, look at that over there, that is a picture of my animal totem. You can't see it very well. It's a gecko. I have had that rolled up as a piece of cardboard in a tube for 20 odd years, and I just happened to show it to him and mention that. I go away somewhere on tour or whatever I was doing, speaking at a retreat or something. I think it was in Brisbane. I come back and he has had it framed for me, right? He put vinyl, he re-vinyled my massage table. I was a massage therapist for 25 years, and my massage table was well over 10 years old, and it was starting to, look a little bit shabby. I get back and he's re-vinyled the whole thing. Another time, not together, he did it at a different time. All these things that he did to show me how much he appreciated me and wanted me in his life, right? I got to tell you, it worked. And he still does it, right? Because it wasn't him trying to capture me. It was him being his authentic self, because he loves working, he loves that sort of stuff. One of the things he does is he's a builder, and he's works with boats, and he repairs boats. So he knows how to do all of these things, right? So I was able to attract someone because I became more aware of who I was internally. Now, the other part of self-trust is actually listening to that part of yourself that has that information. That part of yourself, when you start really believing in yourself and listening to your higher self wisdom, the more you listen and the more you act on that, the more you start building that relationship with yourself, and your higher self can now trust that you're going to listen, and so starts being a little bit louder. You start recognizing which one is the one to listen to and the one that's second guessing, and you start listening to the right voice, and through listening to the right voice you build a stronger relationship, right? But really the key is to first know what it is that you want to create. What is it you want to create in a relationship? What does a conscious relationship look like to you? And how do you want to feel in that relationship? Because we are feeling beings, and when we feel a certain way, what we're doing is we are an electromagnetic being, and so as we feel these things, we're radiating that out with our heart, right? I think it's like 27 feet or something like that our heart energy radiates out into our environment, and that's rippling through the cosmos and calling in all of the experiences that are related to that particular feeling. So the more you can feel like the person that is choosing these beautiful experiences, choosing conscious relationships, choosing to be authentic and ethical and integral and all of these things, then you're going to radiate that out and you're going to attract that in your relationships as well. So and part of that process is feeling safe to be able to do that, right? So one of the things that we're doing this month for our monthly mixer, every month, if you're new to us here in Awakening Magical Women, every month we have a free event where we call it a monthly mixer. And this month we're having one called Unlock the Secret to Your Inner Voice. And it's all about actually listening to your higher self and taking that moment to really feel safe, to trust that energy. So if that's something that you are interested in and really want to connect with your higher self, because maybe you don't have that connection quite, accurately yet. And this is for people that even want to already feel like they're intuitive and want to just go to that next level. If this is something that you're interested in, grab a love heart or something, or just say mixer in the comments and we'll send you the link so that you can jump in. And I think it's on the 27th if I'm not, I always forget the date, but I think it's on the 27th. So it's only a couple of weeks away. And it's going to be super fun. We're going to be doing some interesting things on there. We're going to find that safe place within and really start connecting and building that relationship with your higher self. Take care. I got to work out my Facebook and why it's not working. Thank God for phones. Enjoy the rest of your week and I'll see you next Tuesday.